All right, welcome to another episode of Most Man. How y'all doing out there? We got a cool guy in here today, man. Please like, subscribe, smash that subscribe button, ring the bell, comments, share with your friends. Okay, Rumble, come to Rumble. They're not censoring anybody over there. We want Rumble. Smash and subscribe at Rumble. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartMedia. JoinTheMen'sClub.com is the website. Contact at JoinTheMen'sClub.com is the email if you want to reach out to us. This is a show and a company about building better men, a community for men. It's a brotherhood. It is almost like a fraternity. So we have all sorts of products and services that we are starting to put together to help build better men and a community for men. So today we've got I already liked this guy when he walked in the door. We've got Guy Harper, and why don't you introduce yourself? And obviously, well, he's going to tell us about his business, but he just loaded me up out in the parking lot. I'm all Miller Lite, Trump
swag.
Hell yeah! All right, tell us what you got.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Guy Harper. I'm the owner of Buy Trump Stuff, and we have a website, it's buytrumpstuff.today. That's buytrumpstuff.today. And we are one of the official apparel vendors at President Trump's MAGA rallies. I've been in this business. This is my 6th year. I traveled all over the country covering President Trump at his rallies. And we basically set up in the Dallas and Houston area, up in Arkansas and Oklahoma. But we're an official Trump vendor for Trump's MAGA rallies. And we carry all types of merch, hoodies, T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, flags, you name it. So I've been doing this for 6 years, and it's been a blessing, and I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, so how does one become a vendor? Or you probably may not want to tell everybody how to become a vendor. But there's a process to be a certified.
At Trump's MAGA rallies?
Yeah.
You have to get approved by the Trump campaign.
So it's you got a selective slot.
Basically, yeah. There's a lot of vendors at the MAGA rallies. But you have to submit your merchandise to the Trump campaign. So
before you sell it.
Correct.
So that's what that was my first question, was like that shirt that he's got, Joe and the Hoe, got to go. So that's what I was going to ask is, so the answer is no, that you can't just make up anything. It has to be approved by them before you can sell it.
Well, you can sell anything at the rallies, but however, the Trump security team is walking around, and I have a sign that says Democrats are communists. And at one rally, they asked me to take that sign down. So they walk around, and if they see something they don't want on camera, they'll ask you to take it down. Same for the guests coming to the rally. Certain flags aren't allowed because they don't want that on camera. So the security will approve or disapprove of the merch you have there.
Okay.
At the rallies.
Well, that's good. But they're letting you do your thing, though, man.
They are. I mean, the Trump rallies are a blessing.
They're way bigger in person, aren't they?
It's almost like a tailgate for Trump. If you've ever been to a football tailgate, that's what the atmosphere is there at the Trump rallies.
Oh, yeah. No, my bookkeeper went to one. She took her kids. She made her kids go. This was 2020. And when he was at the American Airlines.
Yep.
And they never even got in. There was more people outside than inside, and it was full inside.
It's like a Trump party.
Yeah. That's why they're so scared of him.
Yeah, I know. His following, Trump's following is not just in America, it's worldwide. I meet people from all over the world that are Trump supporters.
Really?
When we're set up, yes. People from African countries, Australia, Asia.
And they come to the States to go to the rally?
No, when they see us set up, they shop, and then they're international people. They're either here on business or visiting or in school here. But Trump has an international following. It's not just in America.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've only been to one rally, and same thing. I didn't make it inside.
Yeah.
But it was you meet some of the coolest people in the world, man.
It's nothing but like-minded people.
Like-minded people, yeah. It's
a blast. I love them.
So the question I had for you is that because you're a built dude. Okay. Well, I used to have a house down at the coast in Port O'Connor, and there was this young guy, and this was 2016 or 2020. No. Yeah, it had to be 2020. Yes, it was 2020 because the derangement syndrome had already gotten. But I was just questioning 2020. But yes, it was 2020. But it was probably before 2020, the 2020 election. I think it was like maybe 2019. There was this young guy, college football player. He was a linebacker dude. He was built. Okay. And in that town, he couldn't keep stuff on his table. I mean, everywhere you looked, they were flying 2 or 3 flags off of every boat, every truck, every car. Everybody had all the stuff in their front yard, was wearing all their stuff. And I talked to him for like 2 or 3 hours. And I said, man, I said, what's it like doing this all over the place? And he said, man, it is crazy. He said, you wouldn't believe the stuff that happens to me. And I'm like, what do you mean? He said he was in Galveston, and there were 2 liberals that came up to him, and they walked up like they were going to look at his stuff, and then they just took his table and flipped it over on him. And he's not a small dude like you. And I was like, they had the nuts to walk up to you and throw your table on top of you and throw you. And like his merch was piled up, man. He couldn't keep it on the table fast enough. He said, man, I just took it on the chin and picked my stuff back up. I told him, sorry, I feel that way. And he was like, I didn't want them to have the satisfaction of me beating their ass on camera, because that's all they would have shown is me beating him up. Has anything crazy like that ever happened to you? Well, you're going to you're not walking into the lion's den, are you?
What do you mean?
You don't have, do you have any crazy people walking up? Like, he was just like everybody. He was set up like at Dollar General in the parking lot. Yeah. They let him set up. Okay. Now this didn't happen to him where I was, where my house is. It's Galveston, Port O'Connor, Houston. So we're right in the middle. But have you had anybody, some crazy lunatic do anything stupid to you?
The only thing that's happened to me is, and I'm just going to be very blunt, white liberal women come up to me and ask me, what am I doing as a black man affiliated with MAGA? And that's happened like 3 times, but nothing crazy, like anyone flipping over the tables. But my attitude is, when I'm out there, I got to be ready for anything. I work out. I also carry when I'm out there. I have my firearm with me. I don't always carry it on my side, but I have it. But I'm ready for anything while I'm out there. But the craziest thing that's happened to me is white liberal women, and it's happened like 3 or 4 times, come up to me and question me why I'm doing this. That's the only thing that's happened. And I think because I'm a black conservative, because I have a tent and people can't see me under the tent, but liberals scream all the time from the car like F you or F Trump, and sometimes I'll like step out from the tent, and then when they see me, they hit the gas.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're a tank.
but that's nothing crazy like anyone doing anything physical like that.
Well, that's why, because this guy, he wasn't as big as you. I will give you that. You're more built than he is, but he was no slouch. He was a freaking college linebacker, But I was asking Tyler that, and he was like, I don't think anybody would walk up and do that to him. Yeah. But it just, I couldn't believe, especially, I wouldn't walk up and flip your table over. I'd be scared of the ass whooping that's coming after that. But this guy was built too. And I couldn't believe that they had the nerve to do that.
I will say this, the resistance is down from what it was in 2016 and 2020. There's much less resistance to Trump now. Either people are knowing that the election was stolen, or they're seeing stuff like J6 and how it was set up and how people have gotten long prison sentences. So the resistance to Trump now is way down compared to what it was in 2016 and 2020.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of Black America has woken up.
Yes, sir.
They are awake.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I've got a half black niece and nephew, and not nothing about that, but I've got black people in my family, and I know a lot of black people. I talk to a lot of black people, just liquor store or wherever, and because I go out and I'll wear this kind of stuff, and I have black people walk up to me and they're like, we didn't believe it, but we believe it now. You know what I mean? Like they come up to you, and it's, but like Candace, I love Candace Owens, man. You like her?
I do.
Yeah.
I gave her one of our Black Lives MAGA shirts. Handed it right to her.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's man. I liked her from day. I mean, it's day one when I heard her. I was like, man, this girl is gonna blow up. She has. But what does she call? What does she call it right now? Is it Blacksit?
Blacksit. That's the name of her foundation.
Blexit?
BLEXIT. Black Exit.
Right.
Exit,
yeah. Black Exit. Yeah. And man, if you pay attention to social media and YouTube and all, I mean, they're awake. They and it's not that. I don't want to sound like they've never been awake. That's not what I'm saying. It's that. I guess I'm just saying, in areas that was always, they voted Democrat no matter what, right? That's not happening anymore. That's why they're doing to Trump what they're doing to Trump, is They know that white, black, Hispanic, everybody's just like, okay, this has gone way too far, man, for everybody. I mean, and that's what O'Shea. I don't know, how long did you get to listen to his interview?
I didn't hear much of it.
You didn't hear much of it? Okay. But, yeah, he's saying that just the feeling is that you've pissed off the normal people, that even the people that didn't pay attention before, they are paying attention now, and they are awake. How old are you?
I'm 52.
You're 52?
Yes, sir.
Jesus, he looks like he's 25. You're 50, huh?
Working out, man.
You married?
I'm divorced.
I am too. Welcome to the club.
That's a whole nother story, but
yeah, I've got a crazy one too. Was it good or bad?
It's bad. And
you don't have to get into it if you don't want to.
It's bad, but men in this country are waking up to what's going on with them too. But that's
same story.
100%. That's my lane, man. I could talk about that for hours.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's why I started this company. Was number one. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story, and then we can trade these stories if you want to down the road. Okay. You asked me what I used to do. So I used to be in the concrete business. I used to have a concrete plant. We had the trucks that we would deliver the concrete.
Yes, sir.
And so I sold the first company in 2015. So that was a good move. We built it, sold it, and then, so like I said, I had a house at the coast. I used to run an offshore charter service. I used to take people deep sea fishing, so that's why I had a house down there. And we were going to put a concrete plant down there. It was needed. The market needed it. Well, when I sold the company, I had 4 or 5 people that were like, man, we were looking forward to moving down there. Like, we were excited to move to the coast. So they talked me into it. They said, can we put that plant up? I said, yes, but I'm not going down there all the time. Y'all are going to have to run it down there, and I'm going to run my part from up here. I'll come down there, but I'm just not going to be there 6 days a week, right? So we did it. Got that thing up and running, man. We had an office. We got into the roll-off dumpster business, too. I got into the environmental cleanup. Okay. We had an office in Victoria, San Antonio. We were about to open Austin. I had land in McKinney in Van Alstyne that we were about to put another location up. And then I had land in Weatherford. That was all going to be roll-off stuff and concrete plants because my non-compete up here went out. Okay, well, long story short, we got hit by Hurricane Harvey down there. And decimated. Hurricane Harvey sat on top of us for 3 days.
Okay.
And we got like 5.5 foot of rain. So what killed me though, so all those we had dumpsters all over Houston. We had dumpsters from Houston to Port Aransas. Okay. Doing the hurricane cleanup. So we were blowing and going, FEMA contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I had $3 million. I had $4 million on the streets with FEMA.
Mm-hmm.
I had $4 million on the streets with concrete sales. Okay. And then we had another big contract with this commercial builder. We were working on like 4 or 5 different schools at one time.
Wow.
You know, we kind of bounce from these elementary schools. You know, sometimes it'd be 4, then 5, and then we're doing 6 or just whatever.
Okay.
He got caught cheating on his wife with his secretary. She filed for a divorce. He filed for bankruptcy. So didn't get that money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you collect money on people that barely have a house to live in? Can't even run their business because everything's destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then FEMA runs out of money, supposedly. It wasn't that it was Trump. It was everybody blamed Trump on that. Oh, you didn't send enough money down there. No, he sent enough money. It's just that Houston gobbled up the lion's share of the money. But what happened to me is we didn't get paid from our contractors, and they used that whole FEMA ran out of money. I think they just kept the money.
Really?
And said, yeah, we don't have it. FEMA ran out of money. So there's $12 million. Okay. What killed us though is that 7 miles down the road from our Victoria plant,
Mm-hmm.
is where we bought all of our sand and gravel, and they dredged the Guadalupe River for the sand and gravel. And then they dredge the river, then bring it up to their wash plant, wash it, and it splits it all up. And then, okay. So they had a dig zone that they could dig out of. And, so the Corps of Engineers is inspecting the river to see if it made any new erosion or, did it take a turn? Did it take this rancher's land? Did it, 5.5 foot of rain, that river was rolling, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're driving by this sand and gravel pit going, whoa, 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 whoa. Aren't they supposed to be 2 miles up the river? And when you're messing with the Corps of Engineers, man, it's like hop in the boat. So they were digging out. They kept the stuff they had in their dig zone.
Mm-hmm.
And they were digging out of their dig zone to save this for later. They loaded up the boat, drove straight to the company, shut them down that day. And they said, you got to mitigate this before we even think about letting you to go back. How do you fix a river that you just gutted?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what killed us.
Really?
So I lost my company, and then I went through a divorce all at the same time. And I'll tell you off air what happened on my divorce, but it was something that shouldn't have happened. Okay. Well, I'll tell you part of it because I don't want to waste the whole podcast because I've done podcasts on it.
Okay.
Basically, I'm in the oil cleanup business, right? I'm in the environmental cleanup business.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter's boyfriend, the little punk, I helped him start his business.
Mm-hmm.
He drained his oil at the end of my driveway, supposedly teaching my daughter how to change oil.
Mm-hmm.
He had just got done doing an oil cleanup for me in Weatherford that he did the dirt work on. Okay. So I'm like, you need to clean it up. I was like, what are you doing? I mean, but in my mind, I was like, I've done stupid stuff. My girlfriend back when I was his age, or I was probably 16, 17. But we broke up, and I went to go do donuts in her front yard and buried my truck in her front yard. And there's still a 12-pack of Budweiser in her front yard today in my ruts.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, and the stepdad's a homicide detective on top of that. He's a cop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So and he was like, dumbass, you're coming to clean this tomorrow. If you don't, then I'm going to press charges. So we went and cleaned it up. So I told him, clean it up. And So that's where the tension started. But everybody in my family acted like I was just asking for the moon for him to clean up a freaking oil spill in the middle of my, road. Mm-hmm. I'll show you a picture of it. But anyway, fast forward. That's what started the tension.
Okay.
Right. So it's my daughter's senior year. She thinks she doesn't have to follow the rules or anything like that. Hold on. I'll blow by it every time, so I'm going slow. At any rate, yeah, you're ruining my relationship. You're ruining my. I was like, I ain't ruining nothing, It's right here. I know it is. This is way after.
Okay.
It's a lot of oil.
Yeah.
Okay. This neighbor over here thinks he's running the fucking Yellowstone on 10 acres. Okay. He takes his shit serious. Well, right here's where this drains off into his ponds where his cows drink. You think he's wanting oil in his pond?
Right.
Yeah. So that's why I was so adamant about him cleaning it up. I was like, dude, this guy he's gonna lose his mind if he finds out that oil is going into his pond. Mm-hmm. Right? So he tells me, you don't own the road. Like, I don't have to clean it up because you don't own the road. And I'm like, God dang it, all I'm asking you to do is clean up what you did. Mm-hmm. That's it. So, anyway, fast forward, my whole family's like, oh, I can't believe you're being so hard on the kid. And I'm like, a kid? He's 18 years old. You want me to come drain my oil? I've got a big truck like that too. You want me to come drain my oil in front of your house? Mm-hmm. See how you like it? And then tell you, you don't own the road? Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it. So, fast forward, pulls up, and back then my office faced the carport, and then so my office, bathroom, middle daughter's room. Pulls up with his big bright lights on, LED bright lights. Mm-hmm. And he knew the rules, not allowed to pull up, blinding us in our and plus there was 15 other areas where he could have parked and left his lights on and nobody said nothing. So I go out there. What? So you know the rules. Turn your lights off, park somewhere else, or leave. Rolls up his window while I'm talking to him. So don't be knocking on my fucking window. I'm like, all right, leave. So he goes to leave. My daughter jumps out, starts pushing me, and you're ruining my relationship, blah, 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 blah. So I see him. He's probably 100 foot away from us. Get out of his truck. The dog, her dog was in there, and that's why he stopped. But the dog gets out, runs, comes up to me, jumps on me, because she loved me more than it was my daughter's dog. I bought her one and me one so we could breed. I got those mini toy Australian Shepherds.
Okay.
Yeah. So I see him running at me. I'm like, oh, dear God. And I was like, whatever you do, just don't hit him. Because I knew he was running up because my daughter's pushing on me and all this stuff. And I'm just like, whatever you do, don't hit him. Just diffuse the situation. Right? Boom. Punches me in the eye with brass knuckles on.
Really?
Yeah. And I've been hit with brass knuckles before. And I've crowbar to the face, crowbar to the head, big 40-ounce Mickeys to the back of the head. So I know what a punch feels like versus metal. Mm-hmm. So I just grabbed him by his shirt, pushed him, like we had this brick ledge about this tall that separated our front yard from our driveway. Mm-hmm. And so I just pushed him over that, tripped him, held him on the ground. Wife comes out, thinks I'm killing him. So he gets up. Oh, you're such a wussy. You couldn't even hit me. All you did was pull my hair and pull my shirt. And I'm like, dude, just get out of here. I'm calling the cops. I said, call the cops. So the sheriffs pull up, or the deputies, and they're like, what'd he hit you with? Because my eye was already just like black and you know, he was like, he didn't punch you. He hit you with something. I said, I know. I know. They were like, why didn't you shoot him? You know,
Really?
like, why didn't you kick his ass? This is on your property, man. And I'm like, look, this, number one, I'm not that kind of guy. Two, if I got to take a punch from my daughter to know that she's dating a dumbass, then all right. Three, we're not that kind of people. And this is going to cause enough shit in our family already, you know? So, they were begging me to press charges. And I was like, nah, there's a better fight for him down the road. Not worried about it. You know, he's a smart ass. Somebody's going to take care of that for me. So, wife comes out, ex-wife, I hope you go to jail. And I'm like, what? And so cops come, all this, and I sign the report and all that. Boom. So they come up with this story that I beat him up. He had a broke nose the next morning. Okay. So my wife is like, I can't live with somebody that beat up an 18-year-old boy. And I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? You know what kind of family this kid comes from? And when's the last time I beat up anybody? High school? You know what I mean? Or a bar fight, maybe? Way. So that's why I got divorced.
Really?
Yeah. Then it all ended up being bullshit. Okay? Because they wanted me to go to jail. They were trying to put me in jail. They even went and lied to the cops and came up with this cockamamie story. And the investigator didn't even call me. So all of a sudden I have this, I was like, I didn't get to tell my side of the story. And then I was like, well, it's 2 against 1 and assault. I'm like, fuck. So the whole time my whole family's treating me like I did it. You know, like all left me hanging and then I had to go through a bankruptcy with all the company shit. So all this happened at one time. Thank God it turned out that I planned my money right, sold my house. So I came out ahead. But my point is that I got divorced over a fucking lie. And then it all turned out to be bullshit. The when we went to court, they were like, you lost your family over this? And I was like, yeah. They were like, fuck, we owe you an apology. So they didn't even entertain it. It just got thrown out.
Right.
But, yeah. Yeah, so if it's bad, I know it, man. I mean, if you can tell yours if you want to, but we can get back on the real, but that's why I started this company. Is because I was like, man, I was at the lowest of low.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like everything, nothing was, I had no bright light. Everything was dark. Business, family. I mean, it was all of it at once. And I was like, this is why people just put a fucking bullet in their head.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I was never suicidal. Would never kill myself because I know what kind of person I am. But that's how I felt, man. I was like, this is why people contemplate it or do it. You know what I mean? And yeah. And I had a surgery on my foot at the same time. I got out of my truck and broke my tibia and fibia with nobody around. I laying in bed. That's when I got addicted to YouTube. And I was like, because I've had this idea shelved for about 15 years.
Really?
Yeah. And that's why I was like, hold up. This is how I can do it. You know, social media, YouTube, all that.
Right.
So that's why I started this company. Because I was at the low of low. And you know how many men out there, like I said, that's a whole other show.
Right.
All right. But you want to be a most man. And that's how this got started, was my ex-wife as well.
Right.
First got married, 2 daughters. You know, most men would want to do this for their wife. Most men would want to, go antiquing or, let's go shopping or, most men. I said, well, first off, I'm a man. I'm a businessman. I'm a fisherman. I'm the man that pays the bills around here, man. And I'm the man that does everything I'm supposed to do around here, man. Like, you don't have to ask me to do anything. grass gets cut. You know what I mean? Like everything that needs to be done gets done.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want one of them most men out there, go get you one, because I ain't.
Mm-hmm.
So I go down to the coast, and my cousin's down there, and he copies everything that I do anyway. So he had just had another daughter, or he had another kid, because I had a kid. And I said, man, you getting this most man shit at home? He's like, yeah, you know the drill. Happy wife, happy life. You know, you got to turn in your man card, turn in your balls. I was like, I don't think so, man. They married us for who we are.
Mm.
You know, hell no. I said, for $69.95, you get it all back. You get your man card, which you're getting today. You get your man card, you get your balls back, you get your 12-step recovery program on how to maintain, retain. Rule number 1 is when you put your foot down, it hits the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not in a cocky, selfish way. It's, if you want to be treated like a man, you got to act like a man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so when you put your foot down, that means you stand for something. You got to do. You want to be treated like a man, you got to act like a man. Okay, and then the swag and all that stuff. But then when you do that, you've joined the men's club. You're in the men's club now.
Amen.
Okay. So, and that's why I went through that story, is because you can see it. You can see most men that are, they're 45 years old, 30, 35.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell by the way they walk to the mailbox. You can tell by the way they walk in Lowe's or Home Depot. You can tell by the way they walk in the grocery store. They have just fucking given up. They just accepted that 100 divided by 2 is 50. He ain't got no say at what's going on at home. He just participates and fucking gets in the minivan and goes. They've given up.
It's sad. I mean, I've had customers that come shop with their wife, and the man will be like, let me ask my wife. She's the boss. He's asking his wife, can he buy a hat? Can he buy a T-shirt? She has to give him the okay. That, when I see that, on the inside I laugh, but it's sad. And that is where in America men have been reduced to. See, in America it's been flipped. The woman is the boss and the man is reduced. It's opposite of what it should be.
Exactly.
You go to other countries, you won't see this, but this is mainly in the West.
Yeah.
Where feminism has lied to women and told them that they're the same as men, and they're not. And the culture has through,
send them to Ukraine. See if they'll fight for Ukraine. They want Ukraine so bad enough. Go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt you, but yeah.
The culture here in America, it's purposely weakened men and put women up on a pedestal. So that's where we are. But men are waking up. They see that they're getting railroaded in the family courts and divorce courts. So you see sites like Passport Bros. Men, they're looking for wives overseas where women have more traditional values than what's here in the West. Because men are basically they're going to have to rewrite the marriage laws in this country to incentivize men to marry, because men aren't getting married here in America anymore because they see what's happening in the family court system, and because your wife can just wake up one morning here and say, I don't want to be married anymore.
Give me my 50. And 50's on a good day. It's more like 65, 35, her way. It's not 50-50.
Yeah, like my wife just reneged on her marriage vows, just filed a no-fault divorce, blindsided me. I had no idea this was coming. And that's how I got into selling Trump merch.
Really?
Her family and her were plotting behind my back for 2 years of how to get out of the marriage. She blindsided me with a divorce. I was working as an accountant. That's what my background is in. Her lawyer called my employer. I walked out on my lunch break and never looked back. I called my one of my best friends who's in the apparel business, and I worked worked out a consignment deal with him for a year. At the end of that year, I did so well, I bought him out of all of his Trump merch and has been going ever since.
Wow.
So I landed on my feet, but my ex-wife just blindsided me with a no-fault divorce. She got custody of our 4 children, our 3 boys, and our daughter, and I have not seen my children since 2019. Haven't seen them, haven't talked to them, and they're minor, they're young.
How old are they?
The oldest is 14 now. The youngest is 7.
Oh my God, that's terrible, man.
So that
Those boys need a father, man.
correct, they do. And I've gone through bouts of depression over this, but I mean I have a lot of people in my corner praying for me. But it's been the hardest thing I've ever gone through in my life, not seeing or talking to my children.
Yeah, no, man. Well, that's what the men's club is all about.
Mhm.
Is whenever you need somebody to have your back, we will have your back.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, because yes, I don't think. Well, I know they don't. Well, I think they know, but they just pretend that they don't know. But a breakup for a man is way worse, because women, they can turn that switch on and off whenever they want to. It takes a lot for us to come to the plate and say, okay, I love you. Like,
Correct, yeah.
You know what I mean? It takes a lot, especially if you're a real man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you know what you've got, and that you're a valuable asset to any woman that comes your way. Like you're lucky to have me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, not that I'm the best looking or whatever, but I bring a lot to the table.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so so when we lose it, especially when there's kids involved,
Right.
especially boys. Thank God my son is local. Me and my oldest daughter, we hadn't talked since. Me and my middle daughter still talk, but I'm just saying it's not the same. But my middle daughter's just like, she's graduating this year, and she's like, I'm getting the hell out of here. Because they got ripped out of their home for nothing, so she could date this guy, right? But man, my heart goes out to you, man. That's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what whether it's business, the job, the whatever, we've got a lot of big business guys within the men's club already that do and have done big things. So we're creating a membership program to where people that are trying to get out of the corporate world or the cubicle or whatever, we have businesses lined up.
Okay.
That they can slowly start side hustles to work, because nobody's just going to quit their job and, we start buying real estate. Yeah, It's a lot. You just don't do that, right? But a good one that we have is we have a guy that he's in the vending business. He gets his own machines from China and all that, but that's a perfect side hustle for somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's low barrier to entry. But no, that's what it is. It's like, look, no, this is the reason why we write the business plan this way, because we've already made all those mistakes. You don't have to make those mistakes. And if we see you not fucking up, but if we see you not, you're about to screw up, we see you going down that road, we say, hey, just listen to me. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I've already hit my thumb with that hammer. Okay? You don't have to do that. So that's what it is too. But it's the same thing. It's a brotherhood of, hey man, because you know it and I know it. Not everybody else in this room, and there's a lot of people that have been on here that disagree with me when I say this. They haven't gone through what we've gone through. You know what I mean?
Correct.
You know what that feeling is.
Right.
And all you need is just somebody to talk to. You're not wanting to call and complain. And as men, we take pride in we swallow it instead of. But man, if I would have just had somebody to talk to, mine would have been easier. I have nobody to talk to. Did you go through the same thing?
Yeah, I
Is your family local?
No, they're not local. No, my parents are in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. That's where I was. That's my home state. But the divorce took place in Virginia. That's where my ex-wife and kids are. That's where we were. I met my ex-wife working in New York City. We moved from New Jersey down and bought a house in Virginia to raise the kids. And then 2 years after, 3 years after we bought the house, she hit me with this. But when men go through this, you have to have an option, like a financial option, because if you just have a job, everything's going to be taken from you. I was fortunate enough that I learned the T-shirt business when I was in college, and I could fall back on this vending business. When she hit me with divorce, she had no idea that I had an option out there
to bounce back.
Correct, to support me financially. She had no idea, and I'm glad that I had that option. And as a man, you need an option because you never know what your wife is what she planning in her head behind your back.
Yeah, no, well, I left mine back in 2013, and she begged me back. And I said, you got to change 1, 2, and 3, or I'm not thinking about it. So we already went through it one time, and but I never gave. Me and Tyler talk about this all the time. That's the whole 12-step. It's meant to be this is meant to be fun, right? Get your man card back, you know. But that 12-step recovery program is to where you don't have to give it up, you know.
Right.
I know you don't fall in that feminism trap. Because if you do, every time you give an inch, they're going to take it.
Right.
And they do it little by little. Just like they know how to get married. Oh, they know how to get married.
Right.
They keep all those red flags in the closet until their mom's sitting there going, honey, don't let him see that side of you. You know, so when you date them, you need to go walk in their bathroom and open the drawers and see, you know, before you come over, she cleared her whole countertop into the drawers because she's a freaking mess.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's you can't, and then once they find out that they can't corrupt you, they give up.
Or they give up. And in my case, my ex-wife, she came to the point where she knew I wasn't a beta. I was an alpha, and I stood on my own too. And once her and her family noticed that I think that's when they, because I just wouldn't let them drop in whenever they wanted and stay for the week. I was like, no, me and my ex-wife, we have to talk about this before you guys can just come in and out of town. That was another thing they didn't like. But I mean, they have to give us the courtesy before
you're
they just
home.
come. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, once they knew that I wasn't a beta, I think that's when they started planning behind my back.
Yeah. No, well, here's what happened to me: is they moved on to my other brother-in-law. Once they found out that I wasn't bowing down,
Yeah.
her mom told me one time we were dinner or lunch or whatever. She said, "Oh my God, you eat too much black pepper on your food. That's bad for your stomach." And I said, "Well, that's like how I like eating my food." And she said, "Well, you shouldn't be doing that." And I said, "Well, I'll do what I want. I'll eat my food exactly how I want." And then my wife was like, "You know, that really upset my mom." And I said, "Well, she doesn't have to chime in. You know, I don't give a damn what she thinks.
Right.
You know, I'll eat my food the way I want to eat my food. And if she doesn't like it, she doesn't have to come."
Right.
And not observe how I eat my food, you know. But they moved on from him to the little my ex-wife's little sister. They moved from me to him. They got him, and they got the older one too. Oh yeah, walked around on leashes. Hell, my ex-wife used to just. I didn't even ask her, and I wasn't that type of guy. It was not like you got to fix me a plate of food, woman. You know, but she did it. I think she did it, and she would only do it at her house on holidays in front of her sisters because they wondered why they couldn't get out of their man what they were, you know, like they had beat them into submission to where they're just like, fuck it, man. And she brought me a plate of food one time, and they were like, how the hell did you get her to do that? And I said, I don't know. I didn't even ask her to do that. So they both had, hey, Kathleen Christie, you know, fix me a plate. Fuck you, motherfucker. Get up and fix your own. And I was like, you're on your own, man.
It's a sad state of what has happened to the nuclear family here. The nuclear
horrible.
family is the bedrock of society. If you don't have the nuclear family, you don't have a solid, stable society.
No, and you nailed it perfectly. Well, they're demasculating. That's this whole trans movement is demasculate, feminize the population.
Right.
But what was my point? Is it's everywhere and in everything that we do. Is they're stripping men of everything.
And
because that's how they take over.
Right.
That's how they take over. If you've got a bunch of feminine men out there that aren't going to stand up and fight back,
you don't have a country either.
No,
you don't have a country.
No. Do you pay attention to Andrew Tate at all?
Yes.
Okay.
He talks about this all the time.
Yeah, but the thing that I want to say about him is, like you were talking about men looking for women overseas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the same. I will not marry another American woman.
I will not either.
I'll date them, but as soon as all that stuff, you know how many dates I've been on, and they start bringing up all that stuff that we've been talking about. I'm looking to get. I'm like, I gotta go to the restroom real quick, and I get up and I walk outside and I get in my truck and leave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not buying dinner to listen to that shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you were talking about the values, okay? Andrew and his brother were out one night when they first moved to Romania, and you probably heard him say it. He's like, they're coming back from the club, and he's like, why are these women walking around at 3:00 at night? They're gonna get raped. Something bad could happen to them. It's 3:00 at night, and there's women walking alone. And the taxi driver's like, no, she's Romanian. She's not going to get hurt. Another Romanian would not hurt another Romanian.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
She's perfectly safe.
Mm-hmm.
She's Romanian. And two, fuck with that girl, and that family's coming to take you out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they're not allowed to get like shit-faced drunk like these women, and that's looked down upon. They get shamed for that in their family.
Yeah.
Because it's the Christian values that they have. Is
right.
You're not allowed to embarrass the family name.
Mm-hmm.
I've spent 2 years in Saudi Arabia. This was back when I turned 21 in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, and then I just got back from Kuwait a year ago. I was doing some contracts that I was working, like oil spills. I was looking at doing. It was a big oil spill. Mm-hmm. Same thing over there. You get back to a DFW airport and you're like, and I'm not anti-American. I'm not, but you get back and you're like, fuck, man, I'm back in America again. Like, you go over there, you don't see trash on the road. You don't see any of that. And they are some of the most respectful, kind, but their laws are followed. They're not the monsters that everybody portrays them to be. They're some of the most humble, sweet, nice, and you can feel God, and whether it's Allah or God, okay? You can feel God in their country. You go walk down the street with a shirt that says Allah is gay and see how long you make it. Mm-hmm. They don't put up with that shit over there.
Right.
And they are, but what I got to learn over there is the 2 years that I was there, they bring in, people from all sorts of countries, but like the women were the nurses. Mm-hmm. Those nurses were from all over the world. So I got to date girls from all over the world. And it's exactly what you said. They don't have that. I mean, the expectation is they want to be treated like a woman.
Right.
But in return, they expect to treat you like a man.
Right.
There's no, you've got to earn my respect.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it is here. If you don't do this, no, they're like, it is my obligation to treat you and to treat you like a man. I mean, I didn't live with any of them, but when they came over to my house, it was totally different, man. instinctively, I'm not saying I brought them over to cook or clean or do, but instinctively that's in their DNA.
Right.
And that's just because that's the way it is in their life.
Right.
The way they were raised.
That's the culture there. Like the Western culture is completely screwed up. I'm not sure how we got here. I blame it on the church and the conservative politicians that did not stand up against this onslaught of what we're seeing today in our culture. The LGBT, the transgender, no one stood up against it. So
here, pull your mic a little closer.
No one stood up against the onslaught of the LGBT, the transgender culture. No one stood up. I blame it on the church and the conservative politicians.
Yeah,
that's where we are today.
Well, here's the thing: we're in a war between good versus evil right now.
Right, good versus evil.
Yeah, it's good versus evil right now. And me and Tyler talk about it all the time. And Tyler's the one that came up with this analogy, but it's a damn good one. Okay, is that whether it be feminism, wokeism, all this, whatever ism you want to attach to it, that what they've been doing to us. We've been caged so long, but here's the thing: we're done. We're tired of it.
Right.
We broke the fence. We're crawling. Okay, we're crawling, but at least we're moving. But we got to keep going.
Yep.
And that. Thank this guy right here.
Yep.
If it wasn't for him, I don't think anybody could have blown the lid off the way he did.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't for him, every politician, and do you listen to Dan Bongino at all?
Yes.
Okay. So you hear how he always says, these politicians are tools to me. They're not my friends. They're not anything. They're tools. And that's it. But we have to start treating them the way they treated us, And this whole thing about, that's what I'm saying. That what I was wanting to say when we were talking about Black America and all that. I have never, and I kind of know this because I black in my family. Like, my sister's, or they never got married, but her older brother was he was a rap producer. Like he used to run around with like Dallas Cowboy, like, Michael Irvin and Emmett Smith and all them guys would be in his studio. I'd have to look back at the artist that he represented, but he was well known. Okay. So I hung around black people back then, and they were in my family. I mean, you know what I mean? His parents would come over. They always can't. So, but what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that racism isn't real, but it's manufactured by them. I've never had, and I spent a year in Alabama, Birmingham. I went to rehab because my mom was getting married to my new stepdad, and it was like my only choice. He was like, "You got to go to rehab," and I'm like, well, "Otherwise, you're homeless." And I'm like, "Well, what am I going to rehab for? I'm a normal fucking teenager." But I had to earn my way. And Birmingham is 99% black. Okay, I got out of rehab and I got bused to Birmingham, Alabama. Okay, and I got dropped off to the homeless station. I had to work my way from the homeless station to the halfway house to the pop. Never had a problem. Some of the nicest people that I met ever. I've never had an argument with a black guy or a black woman. Ever. And I mean, I was like the only white guy in the room. It was very, and I'm like, that's right before I went to Saudi Arabia. So I was probably, I was 20 years old. I turned 21 in Saudi Arabia. So what I'm getting at is that would have been the perfect time for me to be minced meat. If there was any ill, no, they helped me out just like they helped anybody else out. That's what I'm saying. I know that there still is, and you could elaborate on that more. Like what you say, those liberals come up. Great example. Like, why, if they're so compassionate, and why would they try to single you out? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's gutsy to walk up to you and ask you, why are you black and you're doing this? Well, what color do I have to be?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, I didn't walk up to you and say, hey, why are you white and liberal?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's insanity.
That's the Democratic mentality. That's how has been their mentality for hundreds of years. They want to keep blacks on their Democrat plantation. They want to keep blacks on welfare. They want to keep blacks under their heel. And when they see a black that's not under their heel, it's like a shock to them. That's a shock that I don't think like they think. And that is a Democratic mentality, and it's always the way they look at blacks has not changed, in my opinion, since the days of slavery. It's gone, and it's continued all the way up through the civil rights movement, Jim Crow laws in the South. That is their mentality towards black people. They want to keep black people under their heel.
Yeah. So I worked for a black guy's name's Tommy Lee Jones Jr. Mm-hmm. Okay. He's from Breckenridge, Texas. Little bitty, I don't even know if they have a stoplight in this town. Small. Mm-hmm. I'm talking small town. His dad was going to be, not his dad, his grandfather was going to be the third. So the first two black baseball players was it Jackie Robinson was the first one?
And that broke the major leagues, yeah.
But who's the second? Babe Ruth? Not Babe Ruth. No, not Babe Ruth's wide. There was two prolific. I mean, like it was Jackie Robinson.
It may have been Satchel Paige. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, my point is, he was going to be the third. His grandfather was going to be the third.
Okay.
Black guy in the major leagues. Got his wife pregnant, so he's like, screw it, we're going to raise the family. But got into the dry cleaning business, became a very successful guy. Mm. The father took over that. Well, Tommy, so he's the third. So that was the senior, okay? His grandfather, dad. So he's Tommy Lee Jones Jr. the third.
Okay.
Well, he went to school, got his pharmacy degree, okay? Dude, this guy's got a story. And okay, so I sold his concrete plant for him after I lost everything. I was doing some consulting. Mm-hmm. He got in the concrete business for his kids. He wanted to build it for his kids, but he was part of that coming up with the recipe of Cialis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just imagine how much this dude is fucking loaded. Okay. Deion Sanders used to be his neighbor.
Really?
Oh yeah. This guy, me and him are still friends today. This guy's, and the reason I'm telling this story is he told me his story and I'm like, damn. And he's like, man, he said, you don't understand. And he feels exactly like you do. Mm. He said, they don't understand that they are driving. 'Cause look at the black community now. There's a lot of black people making a lot of money. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're not listening to all that bullshit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's what he always used to tell me. He's like, I've got that immigrant type mentality. You know, they weren't going to do that to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I put my boots on. I went to work and I made this money. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And all of his sons, he had a lot of kids. Hence Cialis. Okay. So, but the reason why I tell this story is his kids. So I worked at the company he had people stealing from him. He hired the wrong management company.
Okay.
Or managers. They were stealing from him. So I had to go in there and clean the place up, fix it up. And then he was like, get me out of this business, man. You know, I'm going to go back to my pharmacy stuff. This is crazy. And I was like, yeah. But my point is that he said the same. He used to tell me the same stuff, and I was like, "Well, why do they keep voting?" And he said, "Man, they don't. It's not. It's like you say. They want to keep. Well, they're doing it to whites too. Mm-hmm. You know, it's keep that lower class because if they don't have slaves, they don't get tax dollars.
That's their voting block. They want to keep that 95% black voting block. But Trump has done what no other Republican has ever done. Trump has stolen, has won the black vote from the Democrats.
Yeah,
he has won that. No other Republican has done that.
Well,
Trump has done what no other Republican could have ever done.
The black community's always loved Trump. How many rap songs has he been in?
Man,
I can't remember. I mean, the black community always loved Trump.
Yep. Look at Mike Tyson. Look at Don King.
I love Mike Tyson. Yeah.
They're all Trump supporters.
Oh yeah. Well, Donald Trump had Mike Tyson's back when nobody else would.
Yep.
And they were telling him, "Oh no, Trump don't talk." Like there's an interview on the David Letterman show where he's like, "Oh," he's like, "No, it's bullshit. Mike Tyson should not be sitting in jail right now."
Right.
You know, and
I saw the interview. With Trump.
Yeah. It's I'm glad people are awake. And go ahead.
Another thing that has angered the black community is this invasion of our southern border, with these illegals coming over. Then they're getting a debit card with like $500,000 on it. That has angered the black community. Stephen A. Smith, when he was talking about this on his podcast a couple of days ago.
Yeah, he's not afraid to talk.
Yeah. So this is anger. You speak to blacks in Chicago. You speak to blacks in the Bronx, New York, where Trump is thinking about having a rally in the Bronx, because there's the support is swelling in these urban areas for Trump.
Yeah. Well, there's a video floating around out there that some liberal journalist was thinking she was going to get just an easy way. Oh no, I'm black and I'm for Biden, right? No, she's like, no, this is bullshit. And I think she had one of her kids with her. She's like, look, I'm a single mom with 3 kids. I need money, and you're giving all these illegals money,
right?
I'm an American citizen. And she's like, I'm not looking for handouts either, but you're just handing it to these people, and there's lots of us in our community that need money.
Right.
We're not asking for it, but good God, you're just giving it to them.
Right. Our tax dollars.
Yeah. And here we are. Here they are. They're starving to death. They can't hardly make ends meet.
Right.
But it's okay. Give it to them. And that's one thing that we talked about on the podcast today with O'Shea, because he's running for Congress. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you know who Kay Granger is?
Yes.
Okay. He's running for her spot.
Okay.
And he's gonna his best friend's Ken Paxton. So he was like, and another thing about this southern border thing is what the left is not thinking about. They're thinking that they just got a voting block of suckers with the Hispanics. Mm-hmm. The Hispanics are more conservative than all of us.
You don't have to tell me. When I set up in Grand Prairie, Texas, and Arlington, Texas, 40% of the customers are blacks and Hispanics. It's amazing. I even had a black gang members from L.A. that moved from L.A. to Chicago come up and shop. They was like, man, we're California Crips. We're Trump supporters. And they explained to me why they were Trump supporters. They left Gavin Newsom's plantation there and moved to Texas because they couldn't find work in California.
And it's a fucking dump.
Right.
The nicest state in the union is a dump. Mm-hmm. Well, I just don't understand. Well, I do. I know it's the New World Order and all the elites and all that, but what do they? That's why they're trying to demasculate men, is because they know this is not going to work here. We're not going to put up with this shit forever.
They also want to depopulate. That's the whole thing with like the elites, like Bill Gates, Ted Turner.
Yep.
They think the world is overpopulated and it's too many people here for them and for their comfort level. That's what COVID was about. They want to depopulate the earth,
right,
so they can live their comfortable life.
It's what's going on in Hawaii right now. All that shit that burned.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg's building a $250 million bunker.
Yep.
Yeah. No. Did you see that? he was speaking at some convention or Bill Gates was speaking, and he said we need to reduce the population by 10 to 15%, preferably 15%, and the way we get it done is through vaccines.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, and look how many people have died from the COVID vaccine. That just dropped dead. Look at all the athletes that have dropped dead. My cousin passed away because she got the vaccine.
Now hear me out. I got the vaccine not because of what you think. I was dragging and kicking and screaming because I had to go to Kuwait. Okay. But we won a $950 million contract. So in order to go over there, now I wish I wouldn't have done it because we ended up not doing the contract. But the oil spill in Kuwait was the largest oil spill in the world. Okay. It's back from the Desert Storm. Like when they were bombing Kuwait. I mean, they've got, if a bomb went off that's how shallow the oil is. If Kuwait is not even the size of Texas, dude, and they're in the top 5 richest countries in the world. Mm-hmm. There's so much oil. Where a bomb went off, it just turned into an oil lake.
Really?
Yeah. So the money's already been set aside. It's just they've only been civilized for 20 years. Okay? They went from a camel to a Cadillac, just like Saudi Arabia did.
Okay.
When I was in Saudi Arabia, when I was 20, I'm serious, literally. From Bedouin dwellers to camel to a Cadillac. But they didn't want that. That's what the Bedouins are. They refuse the lifestyle. They want to still live their holy lifestyle, mud cities, and they're beautiful mud cities, but they're made of mud, but it turns to cement. But those Bedouins, they'll kill you. That's why they say, yeah, they will, because they don't want your civil way of life.
Right.
They want to live their life the way they were living before. But same thing in Saudi. I spent Y2K in Saudi. Got there in 99. Went all the way to 2002. But at any rate, so it was a $9.5 billion project that the money's already there. The UN's got the money, and they go, and we were bidding the second phase. The first contract was $550 million, or $500 million. I'm sorry, and they were like, you've got the contract, but you have to come to Kuwait to sign it. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, we want to do business with you. And this is when I was going through all my divorce and all that shit too. So that was the only thing that pulled me out of the funk, was that. And it wasn't the money. It was just like, okay, I'm back, you know? So I took the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. I haven't had, I don't think they said Johnson & Johnson's the lesser of the 3 evils. Yeah, oh, dude, I was so pissed because they were like, you're not getting in unless you get your vax card. And I tried like hell to get a fake vax card, but they had tightened up on it so much. But yeah, but we went over there, we won that contract, and we won a $450 million contract on top of that. So looking back, here's the thing: we didn't do it because they wanted us to do it their way, and our way was much easier. And we were like, dude, we'll do it for $500 million and still make a ton of money, and you can keep the $450. You know, if you let us do it our way. But if they tell you to tie your donkey to that tree, even though you got 5 better trees that are more efficient and 5 more efficient donkeys, if they tell you to tie your donkey to that tree, you tie your donkey to that tree. And it's just because they haven't been civilized that long.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that's why people say the stuff that they say about them. You know, they're smart people, man. They're very, very smart. They send a lot of their kids over here to get educated and all that. But man, I've never been so spoiled in my life. And I mean, when you're over there and they're entertaining you, buddy, you are getting entertained, and you're leaving with you better. They'll buy the suitcase for you. You're coming back with a suitcase full of gifts. They're just, it's hard to explain unless you go over there.
Okay.
But when you come back, it's like, God dang, man. You know, and they say it. There's like, y'all have no God in your country.
Yeah.
Y'all have lost God. You'll have to get God back in your country. You're going to lose it.
Yeah. Even Putin said the same thing.
Did you watch that interview?
Yeah.
I've still got an hour left.
Mm.
But yeah, he doesn't have as big horns up there as what they painted, did they?
No.
Did he?
Putin and Trump have a great relationship.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. They're like-minded people.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, they painted him. It's because they don't. And he exposed that he's tried.
Mm-hmm.
He's tried to reach out, and he gets ignored. So why wouldn't he be pissed? Why would he listen to us?
Yeah. The media lies.
The
mainstream media, man. MSM.
I don't even. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
I did.
I watched it on YouTube Live because I refuse to have any of those channels even. I don't even want them to be an option on my TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have any of that stuff. But I was like, I just want to watch the Super Bowl just to see what the commercials are and all that stuff. And I didn't have anything else to do. So I watched it on YouTube Live. And I didn't get to see all the commercials because they all went to the CBS or who all had that.
Mm-hmm.
But do you feel like that thing was rigged?
I think the NFL is definitely rigged.
Yeah, at the end of the game, I was like, this is bullshit. This is all some fairy tale written story for Kansas City and all this bullshit.
Yeah.
They were getting their ass kicked the whole game.
Yeah.
Shut out. But how can they I mean, I'm no tinfoil hat guy, but did it not feel the same to you?
I watched the game at a friend's house at a little get together. I wasn't rooting for any team. I'm basically done with what team sports in this country. Only sport I follow now is the PGA. I'm done with team sport because of all the wokeism that's in it, and all the propaganda and all the fake racism. I mean, the NFL still puts in the back of their end zone in racism. What if you want to end racism in the Democratic Party?
Exactly. Well, I quit whenever. Well, I never was. I watched a lot of college ball,
mm-hmm.
but no. As soon as they started all that kneeling shit, I was like, I'll never. And it's like you say, every team. I'm a huge UFC fan though.
I like that too. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, I love UFC. That's my gig,
mm-hmm.
is UFC. But same PGA. I just don't play golf as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I'm done with. They can keep all that.
Yeah, they can keep it.
You know, and that's why they just throw money at these athletes to do. You know, Kelsey got $20 million to take that shot.
The Pfizer jab, yeah. I read that.
And everything is brought to you by Pfizer on the NFL, because I went on a cruise and I got stuck where have you ever taken a cruise before?
No.
Okay, well, a lot of them, they'll have like a huge big screen TV on the back of the boat, and there's a bar there with a bunch of chairs and lawn chairs and a swimming pool, and that's what they do. They'll put on, you know, cricket, baseball, football, whatever big's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where everybody assembles. And so on Sunday they were watching football, and what was my point? Yeah, I was just like, God dang, everything is Pfizer. You know, everything was woke about the NFL. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
because I haven't watched it in that long.
Yeah, I stopped watching during the Colin Kaepernick and the kneeling and all that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, once I saw Jerry Jones take a knee in the middle of the Dallas Cowboys star, I was like, done.
It's sad, man.
Yeah. But, man, it's that money. They buy everybody with money.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way they survive, is just they buy people. Because everybody's got their price, right?
Yeah.
I don't. That's when we talk about the vaccine, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have got it. No. But it was, and plus I had other people that they were like, man, it's just a fucking vaccine, man. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's the whole point. I'm not taking nobody knows what it is.
Right.
You know that some of those vaccines, people dying. Well, you know what? Another thing. Listen to this. And don't be afraid to cut me off, dude, and just talk about whatever you want to talk about on the topics that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Because I definitely like you. I want to have you back for sure. When my dad died, it was at a Catholic hospital down in San Marcos. And I asked him, it was like right when everything was opening back up. And I said, how many people are actually dying from COVID here? You know, because they had all their ventilators and their air scrubbers and all their stuff in the hospital. And she said, we're not taking any of that money. We're not taking any COVID money. Do you know that they were getting $50,000 per death that was labeled COVID?
Yeah, I heard about that. So someone else in the health field was telling me about that.
$50,000 just to say COVID.
Yep.
But it was Catholics are pretty. I don't know if you can do anything about the Catholic religion, but the Catholics, they stick to their beliefs. And yeah, it was crazy because there were so many deaths that it could have been a car wreck, and they labeled it COVID
to get the money.
Yeah. So that's what they do. They just keep that gravy train rolling.
Yep.
And people just can't. You know, it's good versus evil. Mm-hmm. What they're doing is satanic.
Yeah, satanic. 100%.
Yeah. So, is there anything that you want to talk? What time? How long have we been on?
Almost an hour and 20 minutes.
Okay, so we're perfect time. This you want to keep it like an hour and a half is, people's attention span.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, we can just spend the last part talking about. Let's talk about your business, man. I mean, or you talk about whatever you want to talk about. Mm-hmm. But I just think I'm fucking happy that there's a dude out there like you doing what you're doing, man. Because you're doing something that you're attracting the heat.
I'm happy to do it. I'm so proud to be a part of the MAGA movement. The MAGA movement is one of the greatest political movements in our country's history, and I'm proud to be a part of it. I'm proud to have helped Black people wake up and understand the history of the Democratic Party and the history of the Republican Party. I'm just very proud to be a part of the MAGA movement. I love President Trump. I wrote a paper on President Trump my freshman year in college. This is back in 1992 because I always admired his businesses. I've always been a Trump fan. So when he ran for president, I initially wasn't on board. I was a Ted Cruz guy. But during the Republican debates in 2016, Trump knocked everybody down. And I could see his fortitude. And I think me and President Trump share the same personalities. He does not care what people think. He's unfiltered. And that's what we like about him. Mm-hmm. That's what I like about him. He doesn't. People always say he's not presidential. Well, what is presidential?
Lying.
Yeah, lie. You want him to be a liar like Obama? He is presidential. There's no such thing as that, as far as I'm concerned. So, the way Trump is, he's unfiltered. He says what needs to be said. He's the man for the job. And 2024 is the year where all of this is going to be exposed. Everything surrounding the 2020 election, how they stole it. I mean, Trump has already put out a 32-page report. If you're on Truth Social, you can get it there. But how they stole it, the swing states they stole it in, all of this is about to hit the fan for the Democrats. J6, how they had the FBI there and that was infiltrating the crowd, how they let everyone in. It's all about to hit the fan for the Democrats. 2024 is a year that all of this is going to be revealed. Mm-hmm. And I'm just happy and proud to be a part of the MAGA movement.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're right. Hell, did you watch that Cat Williams interview?
Yeah, I did.
That guy ain't got no filter on him either, man.
Funny dude, man.
Yeah, he's fucking awesome, dude. But no, I agree. And I don't even know how to top that. That was good. But I would like to have you back on, man. You're my kind of people, and we dove off, and I'd like to hear more of your story.
Yes, sir.
You know, and thank you for this, my swag.
Looks good on you.
Hell yeah,
Trump swag.
Yeah. Oh man, I was buying those hats by the case.
Yeah.
I had red, white camouflage. Oh, I had it all. I'll tell you a story about my 14-year-old son. Well, he was probably 9 back then. Yeah. Late 8s or 9s.
Mm.
And dude, he so where we lived, we all had like 10 to 15 acres. So we all had like private entrances, like gates, like ranch looking gates. And dude, he went and got 2 pieces of PVC and put up 2 Trump flags at the end of our, like the 2 sides of our entrance. And then, so I was going into his room. I think I was going in there to find his BB gun so I could shoot there was something getting in my trash or something. But I was going to go shoot something outside that was pissing me off. And, so he keeps his, like most guys do, we keep our gun behind the door, you know? And, so I went to grab his gun, and he had a Trump 2020 sign that said, Trump 2020, no more bullshit. And he put it behind his door because he didn't want to get in trouble. He thought he was going to get in trouble for saying bullshit. But he ordered these flags himself.
From where?
Online.
Amazon?
Online. I can, or the Trump store or wherever. Which, say your stuff again, because we'll put this up and we'll put it up throughout the podcast.
www.buytrumpstuff.today is our website. You can order merch on there. We're also on Facebook at Patriot Shop and Instagram at Patriot Shop. But buytrumpstuff.today is our website.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to get on there and go shopping, man, because, you know, when I was buying all that stuff, dude, my kids were giving it out to their friends, and I was happy to have, I mean, I'm talking, because you know how many hats come in a full case? It's a lot. What is it, 25 or 30?
Either 24 or 36, something like that.
Yeah. They were flying off my shelf, man. When we went to Hawaii, I don't know what, I was talking to John about this earlier. When I went to Hawaii, dude, all of my kids were sporting Trump gear in San Diego, pissing everybody off.
Well, I get more thumbs up like when I wear.
Well, in California though.
Okay.
Yeah, we were in San Diego. Oh, I get yeah. I had this dude tell me one time. We were at a restaurant, and he said, "Man, you're gonna get your ass kicked wearing that hat." And I said, "No, I'm not. It's because there's more of us than you."
Right.
You know, no. But yeah, pump your stuff as much as you want to, man, because this is I'm glad you met this guy, Tyler.
I'm glad I met Tyler.
When did y'all meet?
It was Friday. I was set up, and he came over, bought some merch. It was Friday.
Well, where are you gonna be? In the metro? Where's your stops that you're gonna be?
Tomorrow I'll be set up across from Texas Motor Speedway. The address is 15957 North Freeway. That's 15957 North Freeway. I'll be there tomorrow from 10 to 6, and possibly Thursday, because I have to work around it depends on the weather permitting, when we set up at these at our roadside locations. And then I'm headed up to Little Rock, Arkansas, for the Arkansas MAGA meeting on this Saturday.
So, do you have more spots in DFW that you do?
Yeah.
Anything that we can pop, because we'll type up all the addresses and everything too. You don't have to remember the address, but we'll pop it up. You can text us if you don't remember the address.
Yeah.
You can text it to Tyler, and he'll put it up on the screen.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I set up in Arlington, Grand Prairie, Fort Worth, across from Texas Motor Speedway.
Where at in Arlington?
Cooper Street in Arlington.
Off 20 or 30?
20.
Is there a spot that you like, at a parking lot or anything?
Yeah, I don't know the address. I'll text it to Tyler. But it used to be a Friday's restaurant, but they're no longer there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's by if it's not there. I don't know if it's there anymore.
So there's a group of patriots that do a flag wave.
I know exactly
Yeah.
where you're talking
So I
about.
set up with those guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know exactly where you're talking
Yep.
about. Yeah, there's a gas station there too, isn't there?
No, it's a old Fridays restaurant. Is what it
Yeah, I
looks
know
like.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in front of Home Depot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was about to say there used to be a big. I can't remember the name of it. It used to be like Sam's or Costco, but it's not there anymore.
Okay.
But yeah. So we're out in Grand Prairie.
Yep.
So you'll just text him all the addresses.
Yes.
Okay, and then we can just plug that. Anything else?
Just keep the faith and keep the faith, Patriots. And like I said, 2024 is a year. So just keep the faith and be patient.
Yeah.
And Trump is going to get acquitted of all these
It's all
fake
bogus bullshit.
indictments.
Yeah. Yeah, if they had anything, everything like water on a duck's back with him.
Right.
You don't run an operation like he runs and do shit wrong.
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense. Trust me. We were talking about this earlier. I mean, they'll make up shit on you to try, but
Right.
yeah, no. If you're running a real operation, there is no reason to cheat.
Right.
There's no reason to cheat.
And this man's been in business for 40, 50 years. So
Yeah. And yeah, they say it's all the people that worked with him in the past. And this goes to, New York, you're dealing with Italians, Irish people that were that's why my grandparents came to Texas, because Irish people were getting pounded on in the Northeast. So, but Irish, Italian, blacks, he was always a man of the people.
always.
Like he got along better with all of his construction crews than he did all the upper class that he, ran around with. He was a man of those kind of people.
Right.
And they loved him. They loved doing anything in the world for him.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's go. 2024.
2024.
You got anything else you want to comment on or talk about?
No, just keep the faith, Patriots. It's going to happen this year.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody, this was and is, not was, still is, Guy Harper of Buy Trump Stuff, www.buytrumpstuff.today.
That's it.
That's badass. All right, man. We're going to wrap it up. I want to have you back, man.
Thanks for having me on. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Like I said, it's fun. Once you just you just get in a groove, and I used to be scared to death of a camera. I never wanted my picture taken, man. But once you're in, nothing. You want to chime in on anything, Tyler? Good. Well, thanks for me. Well, God works in mysterious ways.
He does.
Yeah, and this is a good dude right here, man.
He is.
Yeah.
He hooked me up, man.
Yeah. So no, we'll have you back, and we'll pump your stuff all the time, man.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks,
well, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, everybody out there, like, subscribe, ring the bell, comment, smash that subscribe button, and ring the bell. Share with your friends. Come to Rumble. Come on over to Rumble. We're not censoring anybody over there. iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartMedia, jointhemensclub.com is the website. Contact@jointhemensclub.com is the email if you want to reach out to us. Y'all have a good evening. Bye-bye.